Welcome to a way too in-depth guide on kind of Boomkin rotation and sort of tips and tricks. This is a normal N-Shriekwing fight, and the first thing we're going to see is right off the bat. I'm going to precast a Wrath at about 2 seconds because I know our tanks pull a little bit early, and the reason to do that is so that Wrath is only on one charge once we're actually in the combat, so we can enter our Eclipse as fast as possible. I follow up with Stellar Flare into Moonfire and Sunfire. I load up one of my trinkets, and then a whole lot just happened right there. So after I use the trinket, this is just a damage trinket, I did the second Wrath to put myself into Eclipse. I popped the pot, and I immediately did 2 Star Surges, because you don't have 3 off the bat. So I followed up with a Starfire, which gets me to 30 for the 3rd Star Surge. As soon as that's done, I start looking at these 2 cooldowns, at Celestial and Convoke. Because Convoke casts multiple times within a global cooldown, you want to activate Celestial like right about here. You can see how close this is to being done on the global cooldown to maximize the crit time from the crit legendary. So right there I got lucky, I got a full moon, you saw it, so I have tons and tons of Astral Power, so I just launch out 3 more Star Surges. You want to kind of maximize Star Surges here because, first of all, you can kind of tag in a little bit of extra crit on the last one if you're quick, but also you have so much extra haste and so much ability to cast just Wrath here that you're gonna be able to basically cap out anyways, so it's not a huge deal. I refreshed the dots there. The critical numbers for the dots, if you don't know, are 6 seconds for Sunfire, 7 seconds for Stellar Flare, and 8 seconds for Moonfire. That is the maximum time you can refresh on without losing any uptime. When these are both active, you just want to cast Wrath if it's single target, but you'll notice I do something in particular here. So I trigger the second trinket. This is the one you have to move around with. And then I actually swapped to Starfire. And I swapped to Starfire on basically the last frame, or very as close as I could, because I want to double Starfire so I get back into Wrath, so it's more damage. If I just kept casting Wrath, I would have been stuck casting Starfire empowered on single target, which is weaker. It also gives you more Astral Power, which gives me better chance of getting the Shooting Stars procs, like I did, to get up to the triple Star Surge cast. So I get Echolocation here. I know this mechanic takes a while to come down, so I'm just going to cast some stuff in the meantime, refresh, Moonkin bounce. Here I get a little bit greedy, cast something during it, but it's okay. Again, line of sight. I'm watching the cast bar. I switched to a Starfire there. So that's actually because I saw like I'm going to have to line of sight myself, and I don't want to go behind the pillar during the crit window. So I cast 1 bad Star Surge to prevent myself from casting the second Wrath while still maintaining damage. I come back out, and here I go with, again, the triple Star Surge. So you always want to pool up for all 3 if you can get it. Now I'm unfortunately stuck into just casting Starfires on single target. It's okay, but I really should be looking to refresh my dots where possible here, and that's what I do. So I go Stellar Flare, Moonfire, Sunfire. You want to refresh the dots in Lunar because it's in single target because it's weaker general damage. So I actually screw up for a second there, and I don't refresh the Moonfire. That was incorrect. I should have done it, but I realized that I should be sacrificing the Moonfire instant refresh to make sure I got all 3 Star Surges off in the crit window. It's higher damage, even though I lost about 2 seconds of Moonfire uptime. So here I'm just keeping an eye on stuff. Again, I get Echolocation. I'm already near the wall, so I'm just going to chill here for a minute, move over. And now I really want to get both Wraths out, because once they're both out, I can move while casting the Star Surges, so I don't have to lose any damage, which is always what you want to do. Whenever you can, you want to line movement up with that. So again, as long as possible in the Ear-Splitting Shriek before going back. Here, I could have finished that cast, but I knew he was going to teleport to the middle, and I didn't want to risk losing the cast to that. Again, right here, I actually stop casting this because I don't want to go into the crit. I want to maintain this for as soon as he goes out of the invulnerable phase. I want to be able to just do 1 spell cast and be straight into thing. So that's what I do. I screw up there. I get hit by the knockback. It's not the end of the world. So this phase is relatively quiet, so I'm just going to skip through it. Doesn't have a whole lot to do with DPS. So right here, so this is his last Ear-Splitting Shriek. I know that, so I jump out of the pillar and start instant casting to get the dots back up as fast as possible. So here you can actually see, so right there, I just cast 3 Star Surges while not in Eclipse. And the reason for that is that I want to use Convoke and Eclipse. So by casting all 3 here and having the dots refreshed, I can cast this and immediately go into the Convoke window, which is what I do. And so I'm getting the full crit effect for the whole Convoke, And again, I start loading up some Star Searches. I get another echolocation, move out to the side, because I had to refresh the dots anyways. And again, move in. And repeat the thing here, just because of the way it worked out. I didn't necessarily get a third right off the bat, but by throwing out a Starfire, I was able to get a third one in the crit window anyways, even though it does put me lower overall. So here I'm just eyeballing my trinket. I have 2 active trinkets, so I want to try and click that as much as possible just to get it in without slowing my DPS. So here, again, here I kind of screw up. This is definitely a big screw up. This hurt a lot of DPS. So right there I had a second where I could have easily just refreshed Sunfire, but instead I didn't. So Sunfire is going to be off for a little while here, and then I don't notice it. I get distracted. This is probably the biggest mistake I make in this fight, DPS-wise. I have to move back behind the pillar. Still haven't noticed the Sunfire is off, and so not back on yet. Now it's back on. So that's a lot of downtime. In general, you want to keep 100% or near 100%. It also almost cost me there by not giving me the final shooting stars. So as we get towards the end of the fight, you want to start thinking about, like, are my dot refreshes actually going to matter here? I kind of figured they might. It was on the line. But as we get really close down to the line here, I'm just throwing out Star Surges and instant casts to eke as much damage as possible and push the boss down. So that is essentially kind of a walkthrough of what I did on this normal Shriekwing fight. I hope there was something helpful in here. I know I was going pretty quick, but I didn't want to take a lot of time. Good luck.